Hey now, what is going on YouTube? ModzvilleUSA here, back with another video. And today we're going to be taking this arcade board here. This is an MV1C. Yes, this is an MV1C Neo Geo arcade board. And we're going to be turning it into a video game console using an Open MVS Kit. Now I've got this board here, purchased off eBay, I believe from China. It was about $100, and I have 3D printed my own shell here. Took a couple days. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of large pieces, and I used the 2 parts laser bear files Greg put out there. These are the shit. So this is one piece here, and then this is another piece, so I was able to do it on my Ender 3, but I needed custom firmware to do this, to squeeze out the extra couple millimeters to use the full bed for this bottom piece here. But yeah, it's pretty dope. Was able to do it on my Ender 3, but if you've got an Ender 3 at home or something similar size, you're gonna want to get custom firmware on it just to squeeze out a couple more millimeters for that bottom piece there. And last but not least, got the Open MVS Kit here. Comes with all the screws, everything we need, pre-assembled, ready to go. Now if you want to do everything from scratch, the GitHub will be linked below. Build your own from scratch. That's something I'm going to do in the future, but we're going the slightly simpler route. Now this is purchased from, now if you want to get one of these kits, go ahead and follow AVCE. I'll have his Twitter linked down below on Twitter. They'll post when they're taking orders. You go to the site, you get you pre-order the kit. Just pay attention, see when they're taking orders for these kits, and you get an invoice on PayPal. You pay them, and then you get the stuff pretty quickly. I've bought 2, and each time I've got them like within 2 weeks of paying it off on PayPal. So very good shit. Highly recommend getting the kit from them, the creator. But anyways, let's do it. First thing we got to do is remove this plastic bit here from the console. Just 4 Phillips head screws, all 4 corners, easy peasy. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is prep this motherboard. Just a few little easy, simple tweaks. First thing, is removing this original battery. You can see this is in very rough shape. Alright, nice and snipped. Now I'm gonna have to scrape. Goes in like this, so we're gonna solder the positive connector up here to that top positive terminal. And at the bottom here, we're gonna want to scrape a little bit, so we'll go ahead and do that now. Let's try to see exactly where. Like right about here. Okay. That should be good. Waiting on a new batch of Flux, so I'm working with the old Q-tip tin of Flux. Not my favorite. Oh wow. Pad seems a little bit crusty. Let's take some IPA. Alright, I'm gonna come in here, my fiberglass pen. That looks much better. All right. This is kind of a weird angle that we're gonna have to get here. Simply because we need to come in from the top and not burn the plastic here. So it seems, right? Yeah. Here we're gonna have to take a strange angle here for the ground portion, so this is unusual. Okay. It's locked in. Very nice. Got him. Okay. Next, we gotta remove this heatsink. So we got one screw right here. And then it's soldered to the board. I'm just gonna add a little bit. I don't really feel like firing up the desoldering iron, so let's see if we can do this with wick. Just for the walls. Oh, you know what? You know what we could do? I just recently got some of this low melt solder. So with this kind of, it obviously melts at a lower temp, but it stays molten for much longer than regular solder. So you want to be careful to clean this stuff up. Try not to get it on other circuits you're not working with, because it, if you just leave it, it's going to bridge, which you don't want to happen. But let's give this a shot. All right, so heat up one, heat up the other. See if we can heat this up and let gravity take care of it. Yeah, easy. So we'll clean this up. Very nice. While I'm in here, I'm also gonna clean these pins. Couldn't hurt. Okay, the last mandatory step here is either to remove this guy, this little amp here, or bend it down. So I'm gonna just bend it. Double checking. Make sure the legs aren't touching one another. Looks pretty good to me. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, we just need this for clearance. If you're never going to use it in an arcade board again, it's safe to remove it, but if you don't need to remove it, there's no harm in keeping it in there. You might as well keep it in there, you know? It's totally up to you. Snip it if you want. I'm just going to leave it in. And that's it. And lastly, now would be a good time to install a Neo BIOS Master, which I do not have any on hand, and I've decided I want to make that its own video, installing one of them. I've ordered some PCBs and some components to put it together, so I'll be making a few, and I'll just be having them a few on hand, and then I'm going to list some on the site for very, very cheap, as I realize you can't really get them anywhere at the moment. It's an open source board, so I'm just gonna make a bunch, but I'll do a video on the Uni BIOS install when those show up. So, all right, we got one more little piece to solder here. Let's do it. So I'm gonna take this cable here. It's for the audio. We'll flux it up. Just 2 wires to the leg. This chip, luckily it's on the corner of the chip. The corner legs makes it simpler. The black goes here. Red goes here. That looks quite nice. Okay, let's assemble the kit into the 3D printed housing. So I sped this footage up 400%, and it's all pretty straightforward. The screws are nicely labeled as to where they go. It's fairly obvious where everything else goes. You get your AV port in that back piece, as well as power. It's all pretty straightforward. The one thing you want to keep in mind is cable management, and the only real two crucial things here is, one, be careful when lining up your main board to the JAMA port. Just don't force it, make sure the pins are aligned, all that. LED going there in the top shell. It's the only piece that goes in the top shell there. So we connect those two pieces, and those are going to be routed underneath the board. And there's the video and audio cable there going to the Genesis port in the back. Now, what's important is to get those, like see there by the cart slot, the cables that are going to the back panel there, you want those, like you don't want any slack, like minimal slack for all of those cables from the backboard. You just want them tucked in as much as possible under the board. The reason for that is the cartridge slot and the brace that goes in at the very end. If there's too much slack with the cables, you're going to be jamming that cart slot into those cables, and you know, it could get bad. Just be careful with that. Just, you're really trying to get as much of the cable under the board as possible. And, you know, that's looking pretty good there. Finishing screwing everything in. But all that really matters here is cable management and lining up the JAMA pins properly. Just be careful, you know. And also, if you 3D printed it, you're going to want to work out those screw holes more than I did before trying to work with them, because otherwise you're going to be fiddling around way longer than you should, as I certainly did. I should have tapped into those screw posts a little bit better, as it was a little fiddly, but I got it working. Yeah, that slack there is looking quite nice. So not too much. What the hell is that shot? Oh, and you're going to want to put the panel in here. I'm eventually going to go back and use like some vinyl adhesive on it. Nice black, keep the Halloween theme going. But for now, I'm going with the white. We'll do that when we do the BIOS. Got a couple screws down on the bottom, just 5. The middle one locks in that back panel. And we got the cart slot, and the brace goes in. Got 4 more screws. I just chucked them in the brace before putting them in there. And lastly, don't forget your feet. Gotta have them rubber feet. Oh yeah. Look at them feet. That's pretty good. There she is. The Neo SD in the slot. Booting up the current game, which is Puzzle Bobble. Bust a move, whatever you want to call it. And this is looking quite nice already. So we've got the Insurrection SCART cables going in RGB into the RetroTink 5X. It's a stock 4x3 settings. And I think there's probably, let me know in the comments, I've heard tale of there being a more optimal mode. I think I've said it to like supposed to set it to a Neo Geo mode or something like that, but to me this looks great. I've got no problems with what I'm seeing right here. It's cut off at the bottom just because the mode I'm in, but it's perfectly fine. And here we got some metal slug. Looks beautiful, sounds beautiful. Hell of a way to go, man. And all in all, if you build one of these for yourself, you've got a 3D printer, and you know, even getting like the pre-assembled kit, just a little bit of elbow grease and about, you know, 250 bucks, something like that. Probably a bit more with taxes, but you can put one of these together for a very reasonable price, especially when you compare it to like an AES. And you know what you're getting. You're getting something very, very good. Great video and audio coming out of this, and it's got a nice, you know, it feels special to build your own console from scratch as opposed to, you know, buying like a pre-made one like the Omega or something like that. I had the Omega for a minute, and this thing is like way more. It's just, you know, it's like half the size. It's unique. It felt good to make, you know. You got a little sense of like pride when you fire it up, like, oh, I put this thing together. So yeah, I love it. I love this project. I love my Open MVS, and I look forward to making more of these in the future. And yeah, let me know. Hit me if you're trying to get one of these built. You don't want to put it together yourself. Let me know, and I'm more than happy to help you get that sorted out. But anyways, ModzvilleUSA signing out. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, and if you want to see the end result, definitely follow my Twitter or Instagram, because, you know, I post more pictures of stuff I'm doing on there that doesn't end up, you know, getting made into a video. So catch you guys later.